Today I have a gift for you. I am going to be giving you a ballet class. This is a really basic class, so if you're a little bit more advanced, feel free to enjoy it to really work on your foundations, or if you prefer, feel free to ramp it up a little bit by adding arms, or you can do movements on lair or add a rise. You can make it more challenging for yourself. But this is quite a basic ballet class. My name's Claire and I teach ballet. I'm a Royal Academy of Dance registered teacher and I've been teaching for 10 years. So let's crack on and do our lovely class. Here we go. So we're going to start with a warm-up to get the blood flow going through your body. I'm going to start with just a very gentle warm-up. So we'll start turned out. So when I talk about turn out, I'm talking about turning your legs out from the hip sockets. Yeah, this is the hip bones and the hip sockets are around about here, and that's turning those legs out a little bit. And doesn't have to be like you might have seen ballerinas with their legs turned out with their toes pointing to the walls. Doesn't have to be like that. Round about sort of knees pointing to the corners is adequate, depending on how your body's made. That's the important thing. You don't want to be pushing yourself too hard, especially on your first few classes. So you're going to start turned out. So our aims today are all about jumping. We're not going to be doing loads of massive jumps, but it's a really good way of thinking of your work while you're dancing, because it makes you think about that resistance as you're moving. So feeling that squeeze and stretch, which is really good for building muscles in the right way. You're not going to be like muscle Mary at the end of it, like big, massive muscles. But what it does is it does actually build strength in those muscles, because you're resisting with both muscle groups. So as you're going down, you're using one muscle group. As you're coming back up, you're using the other muscle group to make that resistance. Okay, so it gives it that lovely squeeze. Okay. So you're going to start turned out, and we're just going to imagine you're pushing someone on a swing. You're going forward, but this time we're going to have our arms kind of curved like that. So you're going to go forward and back and forward and back. Then we're going to turn with our knees facing forward. You're just going to roll through the legs or through the feet. Then left leg, 2. Treat me like a mirror and roll, 6, 7 and 8. Then we're going to go to the right. So when I go that way, go to the right, then roll 6, 7, and then we're going to go to the left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to turn out again and we're going to go big arms. So it's like you're flying. And then we're going to do little runs through our feet. And the right leg, 2, 3 and 4. And little ones through the feet. Yeah, then we go to the left, then we go to the right. Okay, so hopefully by the time we finish that, you're going to feel a little bit warmer and more like a dancer. Here we go. So you've got 4 counts in. So standing, this is called first position, and we get ready to go. And forward and back and forward and back and roll, 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 roll. And the left leg, 2, 3, 4 and roll, 6, 7 and 8. And the right. Making sure your knees go over your toes. So your knees facing the same way as your toes. And roll, 6, 7 and 8. And the left leg, 2, 3, 4. Little ones through the feet. And out. Down. Breathing in and out. Little ones through the feet. That way. Oh no, it's this way. And little runs through the feet. And turn knees out, facing out to the corners of the room. Hopefully that makes you feel a bit warmer. Before we get started, I'm going to go through a few real fundamentals for you. So first of all, you're going to need a bit of space. Second of all, you're going to need a chair or something like that that you can use as or a table that you can use as a bar. You've seen the ballet classes where they have a rail and everyone stands there with their hand on the rail. I'm going to be using the wall, not the best bar, but it works. Okay, so find something that works for you. I probably would suggest if you're a beginner, maybe don't use the wall, but you want a chair or something a little bit more secure. But you know, we're not going to be doing anything too drastic. A couple of real basics as well. We have positions of the legs and positions of the arms. This is first position of our legs. Yes, our heels are touching. If you've got the kind of knees that really pull back, try and have your heels touching and then think of using your quads, these muscles here, to lift those kneecaps. Yes, you need to have your core quite engaged. So think of pulling that belly button in towards your lower spine. And what that does is that stops the tilt. Yeah, we don't want it to be tucked under, but at the same time, we don't want to be tilted. You want to be kind of neutral. Imagine your hips are like a bucket of water, full to the brim, and then you want to keep that bucket full. You don't want to let the water tip out forward or backwards. Yeah, so keep it nice and neutral, and imagine your spine is lengthening out from that bucket. Shoulders are kind of hanging off your spine, nice and relaxed. And if that's all engaged and your shoulders are nice and relaxed and your ribs are away and this is all kind of controlled, if you have, imagine your arms in a nice little curve, that kind of supports your arms. Okay, so that's first position of the legs. Second position is there, so your heels are under your hips. Third position is one leg is in front of the other, so my heel is kind of in front of my instep. If you've got ballet shoes on, it's kind of where the elastic is. We do have fourth position, which is one leg forward. That's the position we're moving through on this movement. And we do have fifth position, but we won't be doing fifth today. Obviously, if you are advanced and you want to do things from fifth, whenever I say third position, use fifth instead. That's absolutely fine. But if you're a beginner, stick with third for now. And even if you're not a beginner and you're just kind of wanting a nice, relaxed, chilled ballet class, stick with third for ease. And just, it's less pressure on your knees, less pressure on everything, because fifth position is that little bit more challenging. So, positions of the arms. You don't have to remember these, but it just makes a bit of sense. When I say move your arm to second, you're thinking, where's her arm in? Where's second? Yep. So this is called bras bas. Now, different systems will have different ways of saying things. Like Cicchetti, for example, will say fifth en bas. But that doesn't really matter. Yeah, you can see from your teacher what position she's doing, but it's good to understand what they're saying. Bras bas is the RAD terminology that we use. So that's bras bas. This is first position. Think of your belly button and your fingers are level with your belly button. So arms stay in the same sort of shape and they open out to the sides. That's second position. Try not to let them fall behind your body line at that point, because that'll make the rib cage splay. So keep that controlled. Keep them slightly forward. So for second position, imagine you're hugging a big tree, giant tree. Okay. Third position is with one hand back into first. Yeah, that can be either side. Fourth position is with one arm up. Fifth position is with both arms up. And that's it, roughly. Okay, so we're going to start with pliés. So starting in first position, you've got one hand on the bar. And again, treat me like a mirror. Yeah, I mentioned that during the warm-up. So if you have your right hand on the bar, it will make life so much easier for you than trying to do the same hand as me and then trying to translate it into from what you're seeing, because naturally we tend to mirror what we're seeing in front of us. So we have 8 counts in. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. A rise and a lower, a rise and a lower, a demi and up, a demi and up. By demi, I mean a demi plié, yeah, which means a half plié. Plié means to bend your knees, and that's what we're doing. So you go rise and a lower, rise and a lower, down and up, down and up. We've got up 2. You're going to lean towards, slightly reach towards the bar. 3 and 4. Tendu, so slide your toe to the side, put the hand and heel down, finding your center. And we've got rise down to there, and rise and low, and arm and open, down and up. We're going up, we're going to go away from the bar this time, so you have to hold on to your tummy. It's a little bit difficult. So over, and let this arm come down to bra bar, and then find first position, hugging a smaller tree, and open, stretch that leg right to the tip of the toe, and then slide it into third position. Try not to bend your knees. I did a sneaky knee bend then. And we've got again, up and down, and up and down, and down and up, down and up. We go up. This time we're going to go back towards the bar again. Up and open. We slide. It's like you're ironing the floor with your foot. Close it behind. Up and down, up and down, down and up, down and up. We're going to go up away from the bar again, leaning over. Let this arm fall down a little bit. Then bring the arms together, open, and back into first to finish. Okay, so let's go. So make sure weight's on the, do a little rise and gently put those heels down. And we go rise, lower, rise and lower and down, up, down, up. We go up, over, up and open. We slide, drifting down, rise and lower. Rise and open, down, up. Make sure those knees go over your toes, up, over. Find first, open, stretch, roll to that foot, and arm. I forgot that bit when they're setting it. And we rise, a lower. Rise, a lower. Down and up, down, up and over, up, open, stretch, close it behind, rise and lower, rise and open, down, up, we go away, over, find first, open, and in to first, and finish. Good. Okay, so few little tips. So first of all, so when you tendu into second, there's a little bit of extra music here. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and rise, lower, and rise, lower. Okay, so a couple of things to think about with pliés. When all you're doing is bending your knees, you need to stay upright, no sticking of the bottom out. And those knees need to go out over those toes, which is why we turn out from the top of our legs. Otherwise, you can twist your knees, and that can get really painful. In ballet, we always do everything on both sides. So get your chair, swizzle, or you can get the camera, or get your phone, or whatever you're watching this on, and pop it to the other side and turn around to the other side. I'm just going to move to this side and we're going to do it this way. Here we go. Oh, first position. 5, 6, breathe in, 7 and 8. Rise, lower, rise, open, down and up, down and up. We go up, over, up, open. Slowly slide that foot, hand and heel together. We rise, lower, rise and open, melt, stretch, melt, stretch. We're going to go away from the bar, hold on to your tummies. And we rise, lower, rise, lower, down and stretch, down and stretch. We go up, over, up, open, stretch, close behind, and rise and low. Really resist on those heels. Down, up, down. We go away from the bar. And always finish with style at the end. Good. Well done. Okay. So back onto your first side, we are going to do tendus. Tendu means to stretch. So basically in ballet, everything's in French, okay, because it became popular, it was made popular in the courts of Louis XVI. And that's when ballet became codified and they started setting sequences and movements to do. So that's why pretty much everything is in French. So tendus, you're going to start in third position. So that's first position. I'm going to have one leg slightly in front of the other one. So as I said, we're thinking jumps today. So think squeeze and stretch. So we've got lovely bendy, squeezy feet. Basically, imagine you're ironing the floor. So think of sliding your foot on the floor and there's a slight bit of pressure. Yeah, this is quite good to do in socks actually on a wooden floor because you can feel that lovely sliding of your foot. So you think of keeping the knees straight. You've got to keep yourself quite lifted here so those hips are nice and neutral. You're not sticking your bottom out or letting your hips tip forward. So keeping that nice and strong. If you want, you can have your hands on your hips, yeah, so you're not worrying about your arms at all, or you can hold your arm in second. Try not to let it fall behind you though. So it goes 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, your hands on your hip, or 7, 8. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2. We're going to flex our foot and bend our knees, stretch that foot and close. Then we're going to do to the side. Now, every system is slightly different. In RAD, in the Royal Academy of Dance, we teach to go according to your turnout. When you go to the side, it's actually not going to be directly to the side. It's going to be on a slight diagonal because you're going to slide that foot flat on the floor. So all 5 toes are on the floor. So you're going to slide that out, stretch to the tip of the toe, okay? Now, if you're trained to be a professional, it's not like that. You do actually work towards getting the toes right out to the side, and you're aiming to work at like full turn up, so your legs are turning out fully. Don't worry about that at this point. Yeah, so at this point you'll think of working, you've got a little muscle here called your piriformis. That's the one that's doing a lot of work to hold those legs turned out. If you kind of think of that movement with your legs, with your thighs, that creates that lovely turnout. So you kind of keep these switched on a little bit. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, bend both knees and a stretcher and a close. And out to where, and then you slice it in, you alternate, it closes behind. Slide it out and close in front. Out we go and bend and stretch and stretch and close. Then we go to the back. 1, 2, try and make sure it's directly behind you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, bend and stretch it and close. We're going to do outer and in, outer and in, outer and in, and bend and stretch at the end, okay? And we always kind of have a moment at the end of each exercise to kind of put a little wrap around it, like a bookend. What was I going to say? That's pretty much it on that one. This one's all about your feet, really working those lovely feet in the floor. So it's building up strength in the soles of your feet, making your feet prettier so that you can point your feet, because ballet dancers tend to point their feet, and it makes your jumps stronger in the long run. Here we go. I'm going to do it with my hand on my hip. Up to you if you want to do arms. 5, make sure your weight's on the balls of your feet. 7, 8, and ankle toe, slowly in, ankle toe. Make sure it's right in front of your belly button. And stretch in to the side. Slice it in. And out, bend and stretch. Directly behind you. flex and fondu and stretch. And out. That's fun. These are a bit quicker. Stretch. And stretch. And rise. And arms finish. Good. Let's do the other side. So swizzle your chair. You could have a two-chair thing going on. You could have a chair there and a chair there and just like switch from one side to the other. Here we go. Think of that elongating spine, ribs contained. All this is working, not tense, but engaged. And to the side and close behind, out. And flex and fondu, stretch and close behind. To the back. Well, I'm going to hit the light. And flex and fondu, stretch. 3 to the side. And float the arms down. Feel a little bit of space here. And that kind of gives you that air with your arms. You don't end up kind of squishing your armpits. But always imagine you want a bit of air under your armpits. You don't sweat too much. Okay, so we are now going to do glissés. You're going to, this time, stand facing a chair. You can bring your chair in front of you so you can still see me if you like. And again, keeping everything nice and balanced. It's all about finding that balance. Ballet is a bit like vertical Pilates. It's all about engaging that core without tensing it and about finding that balance. So making sure you're absolutely even on both legs and everything's nice and placed like a game of Jenga, really. Yeah, if everything's sort of a bit wonky, you're going to find it harder to balance. You're going to be engaging lots more muscles just to keep yourself on balance than if you've got everything already stacked nicely on top of each other. Think of ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over the balls of the feet. Yeah, so do a tiny rise so you're not kind of sitting back on your heels, which means you lose your balance a bit. Okay, so both hands on the bar. Remember, you've got your bar in front of you. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 2 lots of 8, 8. And out and in, and out and in, and out and in, and a plie and a stretch. Out and in. This goes just off the floor, and you're kind of going, my floor's quite sticky, goes ankle, then the toes, it kind of pings off the floor, yeah? Can you see? I'm kind of working these muscles in my toes to ping that foot off the floor, and then I'm kind of, I don't like to say dragging it in, but almost dragging it in. So I'm using these muscles, which are your adductors, to sort of draw that leg back in. And again, I'm keeping all 5 toes on the floor, and I'm aiming to where my toes are pointing naturally, having turned out from the tops of my legs. I'm not worrying about trying to get flat, what we call flat turned out, so my toes are pointing out to the sides at this stage. Here we go. And we're going to do it on that leg and then repeat it that leg. So we do our outer and in, outer and in, outer and in. So we do 3, bend and stretch. And with that bend and stretch, make it really squeezy. Imagine you've got like a rubber band around your knees as you push out, and then a ball between your legs as you squeeze back again. It gives it that resistance, yeah? Here we go. So imagine your chair's in front of you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out and in, and out and in, and out and in, and a bend. These are just off the floor, like a centimetre. And out, shoulders down, and out and in, melt, stretch. Wait, and out and in, and out and in, out and in, and melt and stretch. Out and in, out and in, out and in, and melt, stretch, and float the arms down. Lovely. So those are called glissés because you're sliding, ping and pinging your foot off the floor. So now we have battement fondus, Anything that's called a battement, there are lots of battement this, battement that in ballet. Battement means a movement where one leg moves away from the other and then comes back to each other. So you can have a battement tendu, un battement fondu, a battement glissé, a battement, grand battement, yeah, battement jeté, which is not quite as high as a grand battement, but higher than a glissé, loads. Okay, so just, you know, don't really have to know everything today, but it's handy to understand or just have a familiarity with some of the words. Here we go, so fondus. So you're going to have your right hand on the bar again, so maybe switch the bar sideways so you can see me nice and clearly. And we're going to be in third position again. So again, I always suggest turning your legs out in first and then using your adductors to draw one leg across and then making sure your weight's even, okay? Again, hand can be on the hip or it can move with your leg. With fondus, it's a little bit tricky because you've got 3 limbs moving and they're all moving at slightly different speeds. So if you're a more advanced dancer, yeah, you'll probably find it, relatively easy because the whole idea is to get to that point at the same time, okay? Which is quite tricky when you're first learning. So I'm going to keep my hand on my hip for this one. But if you want to do the arms, that's absolutely fine. If you want to do this on layer, that's absolutely fine. If you're a little bit more advanced, that's totally cool. But if you're doing this as a basic beginner dancer, again, no, just pace yourself, keep it on the floor. Don't do anything too drastic. And obviously if anything starts feeling uncomfortable or twinging or hurting or anything like that, please do stop. Don't force yourself to do any of this. If anything feels like, oh, it's a bit too much, yes, do pace yourself. I don't want you to be waking up in the morning thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never doing that again. I want you to wake up in the morning and think, oh, I feel like I've been moving and I want to do another class. So we got 1 and a 2 and a 3. Da-da-dum, ba-yum. And I'm breaking it down for this one. So we're going to go plié, then we're going to peel that foot. So I think of drawing the ball of the foot and stretch and close. A plié, peel the foot, stretch both legs, close behind. A plié, peel that foot. It's like you're licking the floor with your foot. Stretch and a hold. Then you're going to slide your foot flat on the floor. And then you're going to draw a semicircle with that big toe. All the way around. Don't let it cut the corner. Keep it stretched all the way around to the back. And then close. And then you go plié and a peel and a stretch and a close. Plié, peel that foot. Stretch both legs together. Plié and a peel and a stretch and a hold. And we slide 6, 7, 8. Okay, if you're more advanced, you can play that piece of music again and do grand pliés to that section. Yes, I normally do grand pliés at this stage in the class rather than at the beginning, but if you're a beginner, we're not going to worry about grand pliés today. Nice, easy class. Third position. And there. And peel, out, stretch. Yeah, peel, out, stretch. Plié, peel, stretch, and round, all the way close. Plié, peel, stretch, and close. Plié, peel, stretch, and close. Plié, peel, stretch, and hold, brush, through, round, and close. And finish. Lovely. Cool. Do feel free, if you find this too slow or too fast, do feel free to rewind. I'm showing my age here. Rewind, go back over the settings. You can also get it to play slower. There are certain widgets you can get on your browser that will allow you to play things double speed if you might want to go faster, or slower if you want to slow it down. So do feel free to do that. I don't know if YouTube has a speed slider as well. It might do actually, but yeah, you might want to fast forward through these bits. You might think, oh gosh, she's talking too much. Yeah, so feel free to fast forward, and here we go on the other side. An arm and hand on our hip. Melt, 2 and a 3 and 4, 5 and a 6, 7, 8, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and hold. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 5 and a 6 and 7, 8. 1 and a 2, 3, hold. 5, 6, 7, 8. Float the arms down. Yes. Cool. I love that piece of music. It's got such sort of like style to it. Right, we've got grand battements. Again, these do not have to be, grand means big in French. These do not have to be big at all. They can be down here, yes? Basically, it's a swish of the foot. The more swish you make with that foot, without kind of letting your body kind of collapse, the stronger your grand battement is going to be, okay? Basically, it's that you've got to try this at home. If you've not tried this before, you might have done this as a kid. If you stand with your arm pressing against the wall, don't lean with your body, use the muscles here to press against the wall, press, 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 press. And you do this for about a minute or so, yeah? So you keep pressing, using those muscles, and then you come away from the wall, and literally, even in that short time, I could feel muscles. My arm just floated. That wasn't me actively thinking I'll lift my arm. The muscles carry on pressing, basically. So what happens is that they don't have time to switch off. That is the theory behind using the floor for grand battement. Basically, this is a preparation for all big leaps and things like that, where you go flying into the air on one leg. Okay, we're not going to do leaps today, but we're preparing for building the strength so we can do it at some point. So you're wanting to do a swish, and basically the more swish you make on the floor, when you run out of floor, your leg will keep going, okay? And it will be the mobility of your leg, or the sort of looseness of your muscles that will stop the leg. So in a way, it just helps make a more controlled grand battement. It also helps you keep your hips still, because naturally, if I tried to kick my leg without doing that, I'll be wanting to kind of get a bit of impetus, okay? But we, as dancers, we want to keep our body absolutely still, like a crane, yeah? And you swish, point, a close. Swish, point, a close. It doesn't have to be that high, okay? So, grand battement. So really think of making that lovely swish through the floor. So one hand on the bar, keeping this super strong like a crane. So it goes 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a swish, pointer, close, and a swish, pointer, close, a swish, pointer, close, and a rise and a low. Press down to go up and press down, pointer, close. Down, pointer, close, and a rise and a low. Right, when we go to the back, we're going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to turn slightly so you can see. We're going to just stretch it, then lengthen it, just slightly lift it, point and a close, and 2 rises, a lower, and rise and a lower, then the normal to the side, 3 grand battement, pressing it down, and rise and a lower, and then float the arms down, okay? The reason I've done it like that at the back is it's a little bit trickier at the back, because you do need to slightly tip your hips as you go above 45 degrees, and it just gives you that placement, gets you that feel of doing it without the kind of whack and potentially hurting your back. Okay, so we have Sleeping Beauty. So third position, super strong. 2, 3, 4. Press down to go up. Swish, pointer, close. Swish and rise and lower. Press down. And a tendu, a lengthen and tendu. Close, 2 rises. You stay nice and square when you're doing that one. Swish. Keep the hips level. Good. Yeah, the only reason I was angling it was so that you could see. Also, just be aware when you're dancing, be aware that there's nothing around you that you're going to kick and hurt your foot against. Right, on the other side. Really held, shoulders down. And swish. Swish, pointer, close. That's it. We go tendu, lengthen. 2 rises and swish. And float the arms down. Yay. Cool. Again, making sure that arm doesn't fall behind you. Keep it in front of you. Good way of checking that is to stand up against a wall, having your shoulders on the wall. The arms shouldn't touch the wall at all. If they're touching the wall, your arms are too far back. Right. Okay, our last exercise at the bar. Again, bring the bar in front of you. And for this one, we're just going to do rises. We're going to stand in parallel with our knees and toes facing forwards. And again, really engaging that core so the hips are neutral. I would look out to the horizon and imagine you've got a rope pulling up in your belly. Hands on the bar, and you're just going to rise and down. And as you come down, imagine you've got like lemons under your heels. So you're squishing those lemons. So again, you're creating that resistance in your feet. So you go rise and down, and rise and down, and rise and down. If you want to do a plié, little bend after 3 just to relax the calves, I think the first time you do this, you should do that. Again, you're grown up, so you can choose. If you want to do more, you can do 7 and then a plié, a bend of the knees, or you can just keep going. But if you start to feel those calves burning, or before you start to feel the calves burning, do stop. Remember, it's not boot camp. This is about trying it for the first time. And if it's your second time doing it and you can think you can go a little bit further, then go a little bit further. But be in control. You make sure that you don't wake up tomorrow regretting doing this class. Here we go. So, really important that you keep your ankles together, or if you can't keep your ankles together, if you have to have a little gap, make sure your weight is over the big toe. Yes, strictly speaking, it's between the first toe and second toe. Sorry about my ballet shoes. It's between the first toe and second toe, but if you make sure it's over the big toe, it definitely won't go over the little toe, which means you're not going to stretch this part of your foot. We don't want that part to stretch too much. If you struggle with that, you can get a rolled up bundle of socks or like a squishy toy. Here's one I had earlier. You can have a little squishy toy and give them a little hug with your ankles. Rise and lower. And that's another way of making sure that your weight stays over those big toes. So again, do as many or as few as you like these. This is really good for building up strength in your calf muscles here, which we need as dancers and we need in day-to-day life as well. There's a massive introduction and then 10 counts, or 10 bars actually. Go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 5 and 6, then 4 more. So again, find that center, feel absolutely grounded. Imagine you're a game of Jenga, nice and stacked. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, ready, and up, down. And your bar is in front of you. And plié and stretch. Good. And melt and stretch. Or you can just keep going. I'm going to keep going with this time. You can bend and stretch or keep going. Up and down, up and down. Quite dramatic. Up. This is from Sleeping Beauty. No, this is from Swan Lake. And I'm going to end there. Lovely. Right, you can pop your chair away now. We're going to come into what we call the centre. Obviously, if you're at home, I'm going to stay, a bit like me, you're going to stay in the same place. And we are going to do what's called the port de bras. That's kind of usually the first exercise we do in the centre. And it's called, port de bras means carriage of the arms. So you're carrying your arms. So yeah, this is a slightly different time signature. It's called a 9-8. So if you were to count it, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a bit of a mouthful. So if you count 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 2 and a 2 and a 3 and a 3 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 2 and a 3, 1 and a da 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 ba da da ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 da. The arm. That's what we're going to do. Ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 da. So basically, you've got one arm goes, and it always has a path. Yeah, it goes through first and opens the second. The other one goes through first and opens the second. First is like the gateway to everything. Yes, it kind of leads us into every movement, and the arms are kind of, they lead the way for the lot of our steps. So it's really important that you get nice and comfortable with using your arms, even though sometimes I do say pop them on your hips when I need you to focus on your legs. So we're going to start in first position again, turning up from the tops of those legs so that your knees are facing outwards to where it's comfortable, where you can keep your weight nicely on all 5 toes or all 10 toes, and you're feeling nice and straight. As I said, stacked like a game of Jenga. So it goes 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 2 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. Ya ba ba da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 da. Yes. If you're wanting to go a little bit further, you can look at your hand as it moves, yeah, and that kind of coordinates your face and your hands. If you're still not sure, don't worry, you can just watch the video and copy the video. Again, treat me like a mirror. So if I'm moving this arm, you move your right arm, yeah, so it's just much easier for your brain to follow. I know some people try to translate it, but seriously, believe me, once you're actually dancing with the music and you've got someone in front of you doing that, if you're trying to do that, it gets very confusing. Oh, one more thing. With dancing, whenever you lift your arms up, it's a really good idea to breathe in, and then when they go down, breathe out. Okay? 2 reasons. One, it gives a really lovely flow to your movement. And the other reason is that it actually makes you breathe, yeah? We need the oxygen for our muscles to work, so do make sure you're breathing with your movement. Here we go. So 4 counts. And 1, and 1. There you go. That's a lovely piece of music. Right. Cool. Feel free to rewind and do it again if you fancy. Same with all of these exercises. You can slow it down or speed it up if you find anything. Fast forward through the bits you don't want to hear. But do listen to the safety bit. Right. Okay. So we have tendus. We've got 8 counts in for this one. So you're in third position. And we're going to pretty much do the same as we did at the bar, but just to the front and the side. So as soon as you've done it to the side, put your weight onto that leg so you can then do it the other side. So we're going to do both sides, one after the other. So you've got 8 counts, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. So you go yum ba da 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 yum ba da 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 yum ba da 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 dum. You can have your hands on your hips if you prefer, and stretch. And in, you have to really hold your core and those turnout muscles to help you balance on this one. And this bit's the tricky bit. And stretch, close, put your weight onto it so you can release the front. And 2 to the front. Then you stretch it, flex and fondu, and a stretcher. And in, slide it out. Got 2 to the side, and out to the side, and a stretch it, flex a fondu, and a stretcher. Close behind. That's it. Okay. Here we go. So make sure weight's on the balls of your feet, legs are in third, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out, and in, out. Keep the knees straight until this bit. Try and feel the squeeze on that bit. Slide, close, slide, close and slide, flex up, fondu and stretch and close. And other leg, and in. And breathing out, flex up, fondu. Try and look at something to get your balance. And out, flex up, fondu and the stretch, close behind. Good. So now I'm going to teach you how to do a balancé. I know it's a little bit tricky, but it's such a lovely dance to do. You get that lovely sway feeling, and it really feels like you're dancing, which you are, okay, rather than sort of doing a series of exercises. So the arms go, literally they swoosh like this. Try not to let them go too far across. Yes, they're literally actually technically going from third position to third position, and you look towards the arm that goes out to the side. Okay, as you get a bit more advanced, you can look over the front arm and you can give a little bit of a spiral, which is called épaulement in ballet. In modern dance, it's called like a spiral because your spine is kind of spiraling. Again, if you haven't done that yet before, don't do that. I'm just thinking of if there's someone who's a little bit more advanced doing this class to make it more interesting for them. So the legs are, you're going to start with one leg out here and you're going to drop onto that leg, and this one comes in behind. I do two little steps, step, step, and drop, step, step, drop, step, step, drop, step, step. If you've ever done modern dance, it's a bit like what we call a ball change, okay? I'm going to slow this track down a little bit because it can get a little bit speedy. So you've got 4 counts in, and goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, step, step, 3, step, step, 4, step, step, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, step. Now we're going to swoosh with the arms, and there, and there. 5, and it speeds up a little bit, step. And then we're going to step into what we call classical pose. Yeah, if it's guys, it'll be dégagé derrière, with straight leg, arms down here. And again, if the guys do this, generally, they tend to do one hand on the hip and one palm out. Do 8 like that, and then swap. Yes, so we're going to do 8 with our hands on our hips anyway, aren't we? So have your hands on the hip, then do 4 like that. 3, 4, and then swap. Yes, so that you're kind of going, hello, presenting out to your audience. Again, if you want to slow this down, to sort of break it down a bit, that's absolutely fine. Most browsers have a widget that you can install that will slow things down. Videos, you can slow it down or speed it up. So speed it up through the bits where I'm talking too much, and slow it down for the bits where you're like, oh, how's she doing that? Okay, here we go. 4 counts. 2 and 3 and 4 and melt, melt, melt. Keeping the knees pointing out. Now with the arms. 1, 2, it slows down, then it speeds up. And it's our job to listen and finish. There you go. That can happen quite often actually, where you're dancing to a piece of music and it's like it goes over, it's like a roller coaster. It goes up and up, and it almost comes to a stop at the top of the roller coaster and it goes, yeah, it's called a rallentando, and it slows down. And as dancers, we have to listen to that and stay in time with the music. So we're kind of ruled by the music, okay? So, right, so we have little jumps. Now, if you have any type of knee injury, back injury, or hip or ankle injury, any kind of injury going on, number 1, you should be seeing a doctor before you go to do this class anyway. If you've got anything niggling that's not happy, please don't do this exercise. Yeah, I always have a non-jumpy version of every exercise that I do in my classes, and the non-jumpy version of this one is literally bend and a stretch and a up and a down and a up and a down and a bend and a stretch. You keep repeating that, and a up and a down and up and a down and a bend and a stretch. You're still using that resistance, you're still working the muscles, it's still really good for you. If you're jumping, and again, that also depends on your floor as well. If you're like in the kitchen and you've got like flagstones or ceramic tiles, you don't want to be jumping on ceramic tiles. You want to be jumping on carpet, or ideally sort of something a little bit with a little bit of give in it. So a wooden floor, unfortunately, anyone downstairs is probably going to be going, what are you doing? But that's the kind of floor you need, floor that's got a bit of give. Obviously, I'm not expecting anyone to have a sprung floor, but you don't want to be doing jumps on your kitchen floor. That's going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to, it's really very unforgiving, and you're going to be landing on concrete. And I've danced on concrete before, it's not fun. So we got yabba da dum. So we're going to start in first position. And it goes yabba da dum and bend the knees. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're pushing the floor away. You bend your knees and you push and come back down. Yes. So you bend on the 4th count of the introduction. So you're there ready to push off the floor and land on 1. Okay. So we're going to do 4 little jumps in first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to jump into second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to go in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Then you're going to jump in again, in, stretch, stretch, plié, and bend your knees to do it again. Okay. And the important thing is you bend your knees and you push straight up. You're going up and down like a little rocket. Okay. Try not to bend forwards, because that will then end up straining your back and make everything that bit more difficult. Either you're in parallel, you're doing the rises, the bend and the stretch and up and a down, or you're turned out and you're going to do little jumps. These are called sautés, just so you know what the word is. Here we go. Bend the knees and 1, 2, 3, 4. In second, 2, 3, 4. In, out, in, stretch, stretch, plié, and again. 2, 3, 4. In second, 3, 4. In, out, in, stretch, stretch, wait. Hopefully that will have got your heart going a little bit, and hopefully you're a little bit warm and sweaty, and you feel like you've done a bit of a workout. If not, do the exercises twice through. You might find tomorrow you'll feel like you've done something. If you've never danced before, if you've never done a ballet class before, you might find, oh, I can feel my legs, yes? Or you can feel your calf muscles. The idea, as I said, is to feel like maybe you've done something, but not that you've hurt yourself. Please be really mindful throughout my classes, just to make sure that you don't push it and end up regretting the class. We have our cool down, so you never just stop. Instead, you always have a cool down. That's to slow your heart rate down nice and gradually, so it doesn't come to a crashing stop. And also to just gently stretch your legs and everything. So we're going to start with our leg out here. There's no introduction. So I'm going to say ready and press the play button. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring it in. Turn parallel, and we're going to melt. Now, if you have any kind of heart problem, you should be getting a check before doing this class anyway. Any kind of blood pressure issue, high or low, do not put your head below your waist. Yeah, so literally stand here. If you feel any kind of dizziness, any kind of vertigo, just stand here and just bend and stretch. Put with your hands on your thighs. So you're kind of lengthening your spine. You're in that position. You're lengthening your spine, or you can just like let your chin relax your chest and do it that way. That gives you a really nice stretch over your shoulder blades. Okay. As you go down, only go as far as you can. You're comfortable, keep your knees flexed, and you're going to just relax over your legs. As I said, only if you're able to do this. And you're going to 4 pliés, bend and stretch, bend and stretch. And again, your could be here. Yeah, your bend over does not have to look like my bend over, and you could be literally up here. 4 pliés, 4 bend and stretch, bend and stretch, bend and stretch, bend and stretch. Then slowly, this is really important,
From the base of your spine, knees are slightly flexed. You slowly uncurl, shoulders down. Keep your weight on the balls of your feet. Looking at your toes the whole way. Leaving your head to last. You'll be facing the front for this. Slowly uncurl. Then using these muscles, spiral the tops of your legs. Our music's that way. We're going to do what we call a reverence. It's a curtsey, yeah? So you're going to curtsey to say thank you for the music, and we're going to curtsey for each other. So you're going to go step, put one foot behind, and the arms will go through first to second, and you're going to bend your knee, and thank you. You'll be able to meet royalty from now on. Now, there is officially not meant to be any weight on that back toe. However, if you're struggling with balance, I don't mind if you have the ball of your foot like that. So you just do a little bob like that. So you've got a little bit, just gives you a little bit of stability so you're not all entirely on one leg. And you can do a little curtsy like that. And then you step to the other side, arms through first to second, and thank each other. Thank you for being here, and hopefully thank you for the class. If you're a guy, into first, hand on your tummy, and then bend at the hips. And then here, hand on tummy, bend at the hips. Yes? Okay, time for our cool down. So as I said, there's no introduction, so be ready there. I'll say ready and melt. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And into first. Turn parallel. Relax. You can just have your head over or let yourself go all the way down. And bend and stretch. And second one. And stretch. Bend. Stretch. Bend. And stretch. Then take all the time you need to uncurl. Don't worry if you cross the phrase at this point. It's more important that you come up slowly so you don't get dizzy. Turn out and step and thank you and up and step and thank you and up. Give yourself a clap. That's fantastic. Yeah. Well done for being here. Well done for doing this class, especially if it's your first ever ballet class. Do check out classes near you because it's really good fun to do ballet class, and it's good fun to do it with other people as well. Having said that, if you want to dance with me, I have a class every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. UK time, and you can join me from wherever you are. If you want to do a class with me live, go to bridgeballet.co.uk and click on the book a class link, and you can book a class or book an adult ballet class. This is for adults, the live class in the morning. If you want to dance with me but my schedule doesn't work for you, please do join the bridgeballet.club. You can try a class out, and literally you can do a ballet class with me anytime, night or day. I have a slightly more experienced version, and I do have a beginner's version as well, and I'm going to be uploading more. There are fewer beginners classes up there, so I do need to add some more beginners classes. So bridgeballet.club or bridgeballet.co.uk if you want to dance with me live. Do subscribe, do tell your friends, do like, do comment below, let me know how you got on. I'd love to know if you enjoyed the class, and hopefully see you soon. Take care. Bye.